Welcome back, guys, to another episode on Southern Pursuit. Today we're going to go over my 3 mobile stand setups and how I use them.
God, I love this stuff.
Okay, guys, so as you can see, I've got 3 stands here. The 3 stands that I'll be using this season. I used them last season as well. And I'm going to kind of tell you how I used them last season versus what I'm going to use them for this season. So in these 3 stands, we've got a Summit Open Shot, then we've got a Tethered Mantis, and then we've got a Muddy Vantage lock on. So we're going to go through each one of these and how I use them and kind of tell y'all how I'm going to use them this year versus how I used them last year and so on. So the Summit Open Shot was my first introduction to mobile hunting as well as public land hunting, and I think with anybody, a Summit stand is really their first stand they hunt out of. I know they're big and clunky and can be sometimes, but it's a great introduction for a beginner hunter to get in the woods. As far as the weight on this stand, due to it being an open shot and the front rail is cut off from what is the Summit Viper, they just cut the rail off, lifted the seat up, and it goes down right there. This stand is relatively light compared to the Summit Viper, which is a bigger stand. I use that when I gun hunt, but I haven't had any issues or complaints with the weight on this. Just make sure your straps are good. I actually went and bought some Army grade straps, which I can show y'all right here. They are great. I have them both on this stand and my lock on. As far as being quiet with this stand, it depends on how patient you are. In my opinion, a lot of people say these stands are very loud, and they can be. They have the ability to be very loud. You have your cables that go in and out that go around the tree, and they have a rubber coating on them, and if that rubber coating gets knocked off, and then you're hitting metal on metal, and it can be very loud and you can scare some deer away. But if you get to the tree and take your time, as me and some of my buddies have found out, just take your time, pull your cables out real slow, get it up the tree, and you can actually climb a tree relatively quiet if it's a hardwood. Typically when you climb a pine, you're knocking a lot of bark off, you're making a lot of sound, and that can cause distraction for you and the deer that are close to you if you're hunting close to a bedding area or where you think the deer might be. As far as comfort for this stand, I really enjoy sitting in one. It's very comfortable for me, and I self-film a lot, so with how I self-film, this is an ideal setup for me. It's quick and easy to get up into the tree, so if I'm, have limited time and I want to get in the woods real quick and climb a tree, I get into this stand right here. But as a mobile hunter, sometimes you walk into an area and there's limited trees. You don't have, the straightest tree out there to climb 20, 25 foot in this stand. So that's really the only downfall of this stand. Is I've had a bunch of incidents where I went into an area that I really wanted to hunt. There was a lot of deer sign, but there was not a tree to climb. So I have climbed in these trees. I've undone the cables to go around limbs. I do not recommend that, and always wear your safety harness. But this is a good stand, a good beginner stand to get you introduced into the public land and mobile hunting system. So the Summit Open Shot. So the next stand we're moving to now is my Muddy Vantage. It's lock-on. There's plenty of other lock-ons out there. There's Summit lock-ons. There's Lone Wolf Custom Gear, Novix, XOP, a lot of different ones, and I'm probably not naming all of them. But this is the stand that I use, that I liked. Growing up, I saw a bunch of people using muddy stuff, so I went and found the Muddy Vantage. I believe this is the stand that the hunting public used before they moved to what the next stand we're going to talk about is. But this one right here has been a great stand for me. So coming in on the weight, this stand is very light. It comes in about 14, 13 pounds, something like that, and then you add your sticks on it, bumps it up just a little bit more. I also use the muddy sticks. I'm not going to talk about those in this video, but I use muddy stand with muddy sticks. I went and bought some more of these backpack straps, these Army backpack straps from the Army surplus store when I was in Florida. But overall, I painted this stand, kind of gave it a little breakup. It was gray. So how I'm going to use this stand versus how I use my Summit. My Summit, I went in for a quick hunt, knew kind of where I was going, knew what tree I was going to climb. But for this stand, you can put it in at almost any tree. Unlike the Summit, you can use this one to get up in limby trees. You just have to maneuver your way up there and hang it. The great thing I love about this stand is it has a hang-on bracket. So while you're climbing, you can have your hang-on bracket tied to your hip. Get up there, throw that hang-on bracket up, ratchet it down or cinch it down, and then your stand goes in place, and then you cinch it down on this right here. I've actually lost this one right here. I gotta buy a new one. I don't have it with me today. But that's what I really like about this stand. So the way I used it last year is I went into areas that I had never hunted before, kind of going in blind, took my time, and I could get this stand up in any area that I knew I could get in. Especially areas that have very limby trees. I like to get in a limby tree because I have to minimize my movement. So the way I used it last year is I went into areas that I had never hunted before, kind of going in blind, took my time, and I could get this stand up in any area that I knew I could get in. I like to get in limby trees because it helps me with all of my movement to hide and conceal my camera. Deer really don't look up into those limby trees when you have a lot of limbs around you, and it also helps narrow down your shooting lanes. A cool feature that this stand has, both on its seat and for its platform, is adjustment. If you're on a leaning tree, you can adjust this bottom platform and just move it from one peg to another. Very cool. So that made it too low right there. So I need to pull it back up and let it hit that hole. Well, it can work. Okay. There it went. It's kind of wobbling around because I don't have that strap. But so on the top part of the seat, it has a little adjustment under the seat right here that you can turn back and forth to also limit that angle of the tree and make your stand as level as possible. So a cool thing that I did on this stand for when I pack it, I made it to where you can have the seat up, and it works as a shelf to hold your backpack. So advantages of this stand: you can get in any tree that you want to. You don't have to worry about limbs. You can maneuver around them, get up, whatnot. Another advantage is the bracket. It's lightweight. It's got a big cushion seat so your rear end don't get tired from sitting multiple hours in a stand. As far as the disadvantages of this stand, it's not the lightest. It's got a little weight on it. Noise, it's not very noisy, so that'd be an advantage. There's not many disadvantages that I can find of this stand because I've used it. This will be going on to my second year of using it, and I've really enjoyed it and haven't had any problems out of it. So our next stand doesn't mount to a tree. It doesn't have a mounting bracket. It has no metal in it. It is pure fabric. This is the Tethered Mantis. I know probably a lot of y'all have heard about it. I heard about the hype of them, how it was good for a mobile hunter. You could go anywhere, lightweight. I mean, this thing is very light. So I bought one. I used it last season, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was not a huge fan of the Mantis starting out because of how I filmed. With me being a self-filmer, I had a certain way I like to film. I didn't want to change from it. So I very rarely used the Mantis. Contrary to that, if I wasn't a self-filmer, I'd probably hunt out of this almost every hunt. Just because of how light it is, I like to walk a long ways. I like to get up in the tree. This stand is unlike any other. I mean, I've said the Summit Open Shot, the Muddy Vantage. This kind of beats all of them when it comes to versatility, what kind of tree you can get in, the lightweightness. But as far as comfort for me, I could throw this out the window and sit in those every day. I had an issue with these of kind of just hurting my hips, and that may be because I didn't hunt in it enough. But personally, if I had the opinion of which stand I would hunt in, it would be one of the other two versus this one. But if you're going in deep, I mean deep, and you want lightweight and you don't want to carry anything on your back, the Mantis is the way to go. I'm going to give it another shot this year coming up early season. So my idea last year was if I was going into a spot that I'd never been to, it was a long way back in the woods, this was what I was carrying with me or wearing with me. This is what I used. I probably hunted 10 hunts out of it last year. I never got a shot opportunity. I had a lot of issues with filming behind me. I was comfortable with how I was shooting out of the stand and whatnot, but I got that done hunting and I was sore for the next 3 days. I mean, I'm 25 years old and I was sore for 3 days in my hips from this saddle. Also, I know they just came out with a Phantom that has an adjustable bridge and comfort channels. I think that would help me personally in my saddle game, but I'm not going to buy the new Phantom right now just because of all the stands that I have and the options that I'm running this year. Probably going to give this saddle one more try, and I may buy another one when they come out with the next one after the Phantom. So advantages of the saddle. you can hunt anywhere. It's lightweight, it's easy to carry on, you wear it on, it's very easy to hunt out of. You can shoot all the way around the tree, you don't get blocked. You can shoot 360 degrees is what they say, if you're comfortable for it. But you need to practice if you do it. Disadvantages of the saddle. If you're not used to it, you better get used to it. You better hunt out of it until you get used to it. Another disadvantage for me is comfort. I could never find that happy medium for me, whether it was my bridge height or just how I was sitting. It wasn't for me. And another disadvantage for me is filming. I have to change my whole filming setup to film out of a saddle. I would have to get a new camera arm and whatnot, and I'm not going to do that right now. My footage that y'all see from all my hunts have been out of those two stands, and I'm okay with that. We got a guy on our team though, Matthew Holland. He hunts out of the saddle. He loves it. He has a muddy Vantage. He hunts out of it sometimes, but he would rather hunt out of this thing right here. So a lot of people refer to it as the baby diaper, the tree diaper, the man in the swing, you know, a lot of things. Swing from the tree, I'm back in the saddle again, you know, little jokes like that with the saddle. But it's a good tool to use if you can do it. I can do it, but not a lot. So that's going to do that for the saddle. Just one more thing with the saddle, you also have to have a platform. This year I'm going to be doing the Out on a Limb podium. Last year I made my own platform. I wasn't the best thing. I think that kind of hindered my movement and being able to feel comfortable in the saddle. It was very bouncy. But platforms are big, so if you do get a saddle, get a good platform. Guys, if y'all have any other questions on saddle hunting, lock-on hunting, or even a climber, just let me know. I just wanted to make y'all aware that you don't have to just hunt from a saddle, lock-on, or a climber. You can use all 3 of these tools and actually make your hunting a lot easier on yourself. I know I myself, it gets kind of tiresome always going in, hanging sticks and hanging stands, sit, climb down, and doing it every time. So that's why I'll sometimes get a little bit lazy and go in with my climber. I've killed deer out of this. It's a great stand. But guys, like I said, if y'all do have any questions, please leave a comment below and subscribe. We've got a lot of things coming up. In 2 weeks, we'll be in Georgia hunting. We're really excited about that, so keep following along. Stay safe.